All right, welcome back. Today, I think is going to be a front-end day. Because right now, this is what the app looks like. This is the home screen. And it just says find a match, and you press it, and you get to this place where we're basically looking for a match, but the UI and UX of this is just completely horrible. So we need this to look better. The loading screen is a place where if we're gonna have questions in the call that you can kind of use as like conversation starters, then I think the pre-call page or waiting for a match page, like this page could have like a deck of cards or something where you can just swipe through different questions. Maybe you could have like, I'm spitballing right now, so I'm just like improvising ideas, but what I'm thinking is like Alan Watts quotes. The idea with that is it's a little bit corny, I think, but what the purpose of this page should be is it should kind of prep you to get into the right space to then be the best version of yourself in the call that you're gonna have. The way to do that, I don't think, is by doing the typical age-old stuff that we've all heard, which is just like, just be yourself, because I don't think that helps. I think people know that that's probably what they should do. I don't think most people trust that that's what they should do. I think a better option is to use other people's quotes or ideas to kind of trigger your brain to realize that like, okay, this is why I should be myself. It's really easy to say, just be yourself, but if you don't understand why you need to be yourself, then it's kind of easy to just, I could pretend to be the way that people would like me to be, and if that gets me more interest from whoever I'm interested in, then I could just keep pretending to be that way for the rest of my life, because all I want is just to find someone. So it doesn't matter if I have to be different than who I am, if I can get the person that I want. I don't know if this is what people think. I know that I've thought like that in the past. I think the most attractive thing to the most amount of people is authenticity. When you talk to someone for the first time, it's hard to be authentic. It's hard to be as relaxed and as you would be with like your best friend or your partner or your family. It's really hard to do that on day one with someone that you've never met. But I think the more that you can get to the point where you can be that on day one, the easier it will be to find friends, and the easier it will be to find partners, the easier like everything just becomes, I think. I don't know what I used to think. Well, yeah, I used to think that like maybe some of the interests that I had or some of the quirks or weird thoughts that I had were like unique to me, where it's like I could never say this to someone because if I say this, they'll think I'm completely crazy. Like no one thinks like this. No one's had this thought that I have. No one is this nervous in a social gathering. No one is worried about the fact that like I've been fake smiling now for 10 minutes, so my jaw is getting exhausted and my lips are like getting weird, and I can feel that. Like no one else has those thoughts. To me, it seems like every thought that I've had that I feel was kind of unique. When I've shared it with someone or when I've shared it on YouTube, I realized that it's so not unique that it's almost scary how not unique it is. That would be the ideal, having this wait screen actually load in some way, but also show some sort of quotes, ideas to people to kind of prep them, to get them in the right state, so that you're not caught up in like, okay, I need to be this, this, and this for this person to like me, instead of being out in like, I want to be this, this, and that. You want to pull them back into like, who am I? Just accept that like some people aren't going to like you, and that's okay. And if you can get okay with that state, then going into the conversations, especially when you don't see the person, you just hear the voice, it means that you might be better able to just be whoever you are, and that will probably come across better, I think. Okay, let's see. How could we do that? Okay, I'm trying to figure out like what should this page say. What I was thinking is have several quotes that will like be flipped through. Let's say that you have 100 quotes, and then you have a random quote generator that just like selects one of those random quotes. When you're waiting, you'll get a new quote every single time, or at least for 100 times. That could be something for the future, but I also like the idea of just having like a little prompt like this that will prime the user to set them up for the right mindset then going into the conversation. The right mindset might be the wrong way to put it, but I think this is a helpful mindset at least. Don't try to be someone else's match. Try to find your match, if that makes sense. Actually, I'll write that down. I think it might be good. Don't try to be... but I want to actually have feedback on this. If anyone is watching at this point, let me know what you think of this, and if it's like, if it makes sense, or if it's... I know it's not completely out there and completely crazy, but would it make sense to put this into the dating app as like a prompt? And I know that you don't know the right answer to this, but just say what you feel. If you feel like, oh, that's probably a little bit too deep, maybe it would discourage you from going into a conversation. All that sort of stuff, all that feedback is really valuable, so just let me know. So yeah, there's a lot of talking in this video, but I really like this stuff. As you can probably tell, I've thought about this a lot, and I really feel strongly and passionately about wanting to help people get rid of social anxiety of any kind. My idea with this app is that you can just sit on your couch and you just have your phone here, and if you're super anxious on the first phone call, that's okay, because you can just press leave and you can go to the next one. You can go to the next one, and you can go to the next one. You can practice until you get rid of it, and it's like low cost because they won't know anything about you. They won't know how you look. They only know how you sound and your name. It doesn't really matter. And you could even do a thing where like you can decide afterwards, do I want to show the person that I talk to my pictures or not? Anyway. This video is sponsored by Notion. If you've ever wished for an AI that actually finishes your work, not just suggests things, then Notion's new AI agent is exactly that. Notion agent is like a super teammate that's built into your workspace, and I can give it a go like summarize this week's meeting notes into a project update, and it just does it start to finish. It's not just giving me ideas or drafts, it executes multi-step tasks across my workspace. I've used it to update entire databases, rewrite docs, and even prep launch plans based on scattered notes. And what's really cool is that it learns how I work. I can teach it shortcuts, preferences, where to file things, and it just remembers it. It also connects with tools like Slack and Google Drive, so it pulls exactly what it needs without me lifting a finger. Whether you're managing a product, roadmap, or just trying to stay organized, Notion Agent helps you move faster without missing details. You can try it out right now using the link in the video description. It's completely free to start, and once you see what it can do, you'll want it on your team every single day. All right, we have this now, so that this is not what it's gonna look like, I don't think. I think we need to have some sort of progress indicator that's like finding a match so we know that we're actually doing something on this page, because otherwise you might end up on this page for 10 minutes and you just like, did the app break? We should also have like a back button so that you can, if you don't feel like waiting, then you can press a back button. I think this is what I kind of want, like a little quote that you can read that will take you a little bit of time to read at least, and that you might want to read multiple times. I don't know. Okay, anyway, next time we'll probably get to actually figuring out what the flow will look like a little bit more, also what the homepage will look like. Today, I've added a few more books to my setup. Either way, we're gonna continue where we left off yesterday. Right now, I just made it look like this, but what we need is we need some sort of indication that we're actually loading a new match. We also need to set up the home page to actually have a home page. What kind of letter is this? Okay, I just want to test something to see what happens if... Because now we have 3 users in the queue. 1 user I seeded, and I don't think that triggers the search algorithm or the join matchmaking thing. I don't think it triggers that for the user that's here. I don't think it gets triggered. I don't know why. I don't really know which way it should work. If it should work where like all users look for other users all the time, or if it's just like when you log in, you start looking for someone, but if there's no one there, then when someone else comes in, they will look for you. I don't know, because right now it seems like that's the case. Like this user here, they're in the queue, but they don't see that there was another one added to the queue. And I don't know why they don't see that, but they don't. Okay, that's interesting. Waitlist 1 active entries, and that's 805.33. Why do we get one entry in the freaking thing? Okay, I'm not really sure what's happened now, but for some reason the things that we've done before don't work. If I press leave here, it should leave this user as well, but it doesn't. I'm supposed to receive a left call message. Okay, maybe that's not something that we've done yet, I don't know. All right, so we're now in the call with the test person. We press leave call and then find a match again. Then they got connected. What if I add this person again? Okay, I'm not really sure what worked and what didn't work. Oh yeah, this is what worked and what didn't work. So if I go to the match thing now, like this, and then, okay, for now I'm just gonna assume that worked because I think it does work. I think it's just that the seeding function that I've set up, I don't think triggers the backend in the right way. I think it's just a workaround to kind of add something to the queue, and it doesn't necessarily trigger the matchmaking or the WebSocket handler. It's sort of a way for me to find a user. If I have the device here, I can seed users into the database in the waitlist, and then I can use this device to find those users, but those users won't find this user because they're like stale or inactive users, not real. I think that's the problem actually, which is good because that means that we don't really have to worry too much about that. Okay, I just want to show, like, this is what ChatGPT created when I said, like, I want a Apple-esque design for the app. And I explained a little bit about the features of it. This is what it came up with. This is pretty much what I wanted. I just wanted something that looks clean, that doesn't have too much personality to it. Clean and professional, which is something that I'm not very good at when it comes to designing apps. I did make some modifications. I did ask it to make some modifications to this, but basically this is going to be the setup, I think. So now let's create the pages. All right, now we'll see what this actually ended up looking like after I've added the stuff from ChatGPT. So this is what it looks like. Doesn't really match the theme. We do get a list of matches. None of this does anything. Start a connection, still connects to the way that it should. This looks pretty good. The settings page I think we can remove because the settings page is just going to be the profile page. Right now, everything is purple. I don't want it to be purple. So now we actually have the base layout of the app. It's super simple, and I think I want it to be super simple. I'm actually going to show you something. I can show you the design that I have in my mind. It's like, this is something that could be used, because this is what I was working on by myself. Yeah, I haven't shown this in the videos previously because I didn't want to accidentally spoil anything. Now it doesn't really matter. Basically, I was thinking that this would be like the homepage, and then this would come. You would have these stats for the users, and then this could be like, you could have streaks with people. So like if you've had one call every day, you get a streak, and then you can continue that streak if you want to. Yeah, there was a lot of ideas that I had for different things. But this is maybe further down the line. And this is what I had also as a design for, like, when the idea was that this was going to be like an event every week. It was supposed to be like, oh, welcome to date night. And then you get into like the waiting room before date night starts, and the warm up where you basically have just questions that you can flip through. And then this is what the phone call looks like. And this is what the actual app looks like right now, I think. And then after the phone call, you get this, which is the person that you talk to. You can see their picture and some info about them. That's kind of the idea. But I think that this design is maybe a little bit too advanced. Like right now, what we want to do is we want to make an MVP, and all of these things are maybe good ideas. It's just that it's not the MVP, and the best thing I think I can do is just get something out there, because once I can get it out there, then I can iterate and like update, make it better, improve. The idea from the start was to have this sort of like beige type of color palette, beige and pink and red and all that stuff. But I'm sort of like a little bit divided between like, should you have it like that, or should you actually just stick with something that's super simple? Like this might seem boring, but the idea is not for the app to be super interesting. The idea is for the app to just be there to help you connect with people. So maybe a simple design like this is just good enough for the MVP at least. We have a sign out button. We have your matches here. This is a feature that we need to connect to the back end so that it actually loads real matches. And then we have the start connection, so you can actually start talking to someone. And then when you press that, you get this load screen where we actually load the app, or we wait for someone to connect. And then you get that little quote. We changed this to look a little bit better. We have a progress indicator, circular progress bar, just indicating like, okay, we're searching for someone, so something is happening on the screen. And if I get tired of the screen, then I can press back and I will get back, essentially. So we can try and see if we can get a match going. Yes, we got a match. And then we press leave, and call, and then we end up on the start screen here again. Okay, that's actually really good. Like it updates if I press back here, we do update the waitlist queue, so we don't end up with like people in the waitlist even if they've exited out in that way. So that's a good thing. It could work, what we have right now, which is kind of cool. The only thing really left right now is for it to actually work. Like right now it doesn't actually work because we don't get a proper connection token for Agora, which is the engine that we're using to facilitate the actual phone calls. We need to set that up properly to generate a unique token for every single phone call so that we can actually have phone calls. But that is just a little step that needs to be taken, and then the app works in terms of like being able to match two users to get them to talk, and then we can iterate on that, make it better, do a lot of things. What I am thinking about adding pretty soon is a timer here of some kind, or a progress bar of some kind that just like, as you're talking, it slowly fills up. And the more that it fills up, the less blurry the background becomes. And the background is gonna be the profile picture of the user. If you spend 10 minutes talking to someone, then you get to see them as well. What could happen is you could be talking to someone and slowly their picture gets revealed, and then you realize that, okay, I'm not attracted to this person, so I'm gonna press next. And they'll know that you pressed next at the point when you saw them, because they saw you too. It will be this kind of like thing where you might notice that the other person's energy shifts as they actually see what you look like, in a positive or negative direction, I don't know, but that might not be super nice as a user experience thing. It's a really cool feature, I think, for like gamification of this thing, where you want to stay on the call so that you actually get to see them. But we could also do something where like you have 5 minutes to talk to the person, and if you reach the end of that 5 minutes, then the phone call ends automatically. You will then reveal that person, and then you can decide to like them or not. And if you like them and they like you, you match. And then you have them here in your matches, and you can just press call again if you want to, and you can talk to them again if you want more info about them or whatever. What I want for this app is to not have chat features at all. I don't want any type of asynchronous communication within this app. I only want calling features to be available. The idea might be that you don't actually have any type of texting functionality. All you can do is talk on the phone, and if you do like that person a lot, then what you can do is you can ask for their phone number or their Instagram or something like that. But like when you feel comfortable, that's what you can do. You can add features to this app too, where it's like maybe if you've talked to them for 3 days in a row or 3 days, then maybe you unlock texting, for instance, and then you can text the person. The whole idea is just to kind of reverse the way that they work, because usually they start with texting, which is asynchronous, and usually the start of the match, texting is very slow. And then the more you invest in that person, the more frequent you start to text, and then maybe you actually meet up in real life and then you have actual conversations, and all of a sudden the communication is more frequent again after that. But the idea here is to kind of reverse that. So you start out by talking a lot and kind of getting past is this someone that I would be interested in before you move on to the texting stage, because the idea is then when you get to the texting stage, you're actually invested in this person and you want to continue talking to them. So then the asynchronous communication won't be as much of an issue because you'll both probably be invested. That's the idea. But that's pretty good. We got an app that actually looks like something now compared to what we've had for the past, like, what is it, 52 days? This is genuinely close. If I just fix the token thing on Agora, then it's literally like a functional app at this point, which is really cool. So yeah, anyway, that's it for today, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.